Welcome, and thank you for joining us, Secretary Duncan. A little more than a year ago, the Equity and Excellence Commission, formed at the request of Congressman Fatah and myself, released its game-changing report entitled For Each and Every Child. And this commission was composed of 29 educational thought leaders from a variety of backgrounds. And I want to thank you again for the work that you and your staff did to make this report a reality. The report highlighted 5 foundational steps to improve equity for each and every child. One is improving school finance systems. Second is empowering teachers, principals, and curricula. Third was providing high-quality early childhood education. The fourth is mitigating the effects of poverty. And the fifth, improving accountability and governance. I believe it is particularly important that the report incorporates both excellence and equity. Equity ultimately means providing every child with the fiscal and human resources that they require according to their individually assessed needs. Every child is unique, which means that we have to move our thinking and some of our principles that we operate from all children to each and every child. I applaud your work in proposing a program that will be entirely focused on improving equity and beginning the work that was laid out by the Commission. So, Mr. Secretary, can you share with us some of the ways in which the proposed Race to the Top Equity and Opportunity Program, when implemented, will address the findings for the Each and Every Child report?
Happy to do it. And first, I just want to thank you and Congressman Fatah for your extraordinary leadership. And obviously, you've lived this work in a way that, frankly, most political leaders haven't. This is in your blood. You understand both the challenges and the opportunities, and this was a significant step in the right direction. I carry around in my briefcase sort of a list of the final recommendations of the Equity Commission to keep them forefront of my mind. So just a couple things. The Commission talked about the importance of early learning. You know exactly what we're trying to do there, and I keep saying I think that's maybe the best investment our nation can make, is to get our babies off to a good start and get out of the catch-up game. In this year's budget, we're asking for $300 million to do a Race to the Top equity and opportunity proposal. And your point is exactly right. This has to be about both excellence and equity. Too often these things seem to be in conflict. Again, the wrong fight. We talked about college versus career, that being the wrong fight. And raising the bar for all as well as leveling the playing field, that's where we have to go. And it's so interesting, Congressman. We have about 16,000 school districts in this country. And the theory there is to be great laboratories of innovation at the local level. And in many areas we see that. But I just keep asking a fundamental question. I keep hoping to be proven wrong. But I keep asking, do we have one school district, one out of 16,000, that systemically identifies their hardest working, their most successful, their most committed teachers and principals, and moves them to the children and communities who need the most help, be that inner city, urban, be that rural, be that remote? And Congressman, I don't know of one school district that does this at scale. We have a handful that are starting to do some creative things. And if we think that great teachers matter, which I believe passionately, and I know you do, if we think great principals matter, if we think schools can have a huge impact in moving students out of poverty and into the mainstream and giving them a chance to be successful academically and educationally and ultimately in the world of work, we need to do more work in this area. When I talk about today in many school districts, high minority schools, their teachers get paid less than teachers in low minority schools. When you look at the lack of access to AP classes in many of our disadvantaged communities, that is not equity and that is not excellence. So we want to invest in those districts that are willing to challenge the status quo, that take to heart so many of the recommendations that you made, and to do something very different. I also want to just quickly talk about the discipline guidance we put out. We were stunned with the civil rights data collection. This was after your report came out, but we see children in pre-kindergarten as young as 4 years old being suspended. And we worry about the school to prison pipeline. Well, I was just stunned, absolutely stunned to see that pipeline begins as early as 4 years old. That is horrific. And again, working with people who are willing to do some things differently, we have a chance to show that poverty is not destiny, that children of color can be successful, but they need to be in school. They need not to be suspended and expelled. They need access to great teachers. They need access to great after-school programs. They need access to AP classes. And guess what? If we do that, those students are going to do just fine.